that is engineering physics. Okay. In the last class, we have discussed many important points. ಹೇಳ್ರಿ
ಸರ್ ಸ್ಕ್ರೀನ್ ಶೇರ್ ಮಾಡ್ರಿ ಸರ್.
ಮಾಡ್ತೀನಿ, ಮಾಡಿಲ್ಲ, ಸ್ಟಾರ್ಟ್ ಮಾಡ್ತೀನಿ. I'll do it. Okay, just a couple of minutes. Okay, now in the last class we have discussed many important terms and terminologies that are associated with the simple harmonic, elasticity. So we have understood three main terms: stress, strain, then the coefficient of elasticity, what we call it as the modulus of elasticity. These are the three terms. From the three terms we have derived three different types of modulus: Young's modulus, bulk modulus, and modulus of rigidity. Along that, we have learnt about the types of stress and strain. We have learnt what is normal stress and what is tangential stress. We have learnt about linear strain, types of strain, that is nothing but the compressive strain and elongation strain, and shearing strain. So these are the terms. Along with that, we have learnt about the longitudinal strain coefficient and lateral strain coefficient in the last class, and along with that we have discussed about the Poisson's ratio. Okay, so these are the discussions what we have made. So in today's class we will discuss the relation between them. What we'll do is we'll study the relation between the three. Okay, so we'll study the relation between. Okay, relation between the different elastic elastic constants. Just a minute, it's refreshing. Just a minute. Okay, so let us recapitulate whatever the thing we require. Meanwhile, in the first class, we have understood the meaning of stress and strain. Okay, so what is stress? Stress is nothing but the force applied per unit area. Okay, stress is nothing but force applied per unit area. What is strain? Strain is the ratio of change in dimension to the original dimension. Okay, then we have studied Hooke's law. Hooke's law: stress is directly proportional to strain within the elastic limit. Okay, if I take the value of remove the value of proportionality, I can define a constant. That constant is called as the alpha. That's called as the alpha. Okay, alpha is the proportionality. So if I remove the proportionality, I get a constant as E. E stands for the modulus of elasticity. So E is the thing. Modulus of elasticity is called as coefficient of elasticity is called as stress by strain. Okay, now there are different types of stress we have studied in the last class, the earlier class. First one is the longitudinal stress. They are nothing but the longitudinal stress. In the longitudinal different types of stresses. Okay, now before we go for that, we have learnt about Young's modulus. So this is the modulus when when there is a change in the dimension in the form of length, when length is changing. So we define the longitudinal stress as force per unit area, and linear strain as the ratio of change in dimension to the original dimension. Here the length is changing. Therefore, if I take this diagram, the change in length is x, original length is L. Therefore, linear strain is x by L. Okay, so if I arrange for Hooke's law, longitudinal stress is proportional to linear stress. Linear strain, y is the constant that we have introduced. So y is called as Young's modulus. Young's modulus is the ratio of longitudinal stress to linear strain. Okay, so there are different types of longitudinal stress. Okay, tensile stress as well as compressive stress. Okay, tensile stress means wherever there is an increase in the length of the wire. So there is a increase in the there is some setting that I have. Just a minute. I don't know what setting it. Huh. Okay, now it's good. Okay. So there is a, it got reset. So therefore, Now, Young's modulus we have discussed. Similarly, we have discussed about the bulk modulus of rigidity. Okay, so in the second part, we have considered about the bulk modulus. Okay, what is bulk modulus? Bulk modulus is nothing but the ratio of compressive stress to volume strain. It is called as K. Now, if I have a volume, V, like this, if a force is applied along the on this surface, okay, this is a cylinder, okay, uniform structure. On this, we have applied a certain force F. Once we apply the force, okay, it is going to shrink in volume. Once the volume shrinks, okay, we can define the volume strain as the ratio of change in volume to the original volume. So change in volume is small v, original volume is capital V, and the stress I can define it as force per unit area. So this force per unit area is given by pressure. Okay, so therefore I can write the compressive stress or the volume stress as is proportional to volume strain. So this compressive stress is also can be written as volume. Okay. Okay, it's also called as the volume strain. Okay, so it's a volume strain. Got it. So if I rearrange it for the K, there is a bulk modulus. Okay, I can get it as compressive stress by volume strain. Okay, so rearranging it this, I get the value of K as equal to this much. Then I have discussed about the case for a modulus of when the shape of the material is changing, okay, we have a strain that is generated in the body. So this is the force that I have applied. So this is the force of what I have applied. So due to this force, there is a couple that is generated. Due to this force, what happens? The top surface of this cube is shifted. Once it is shifted, there is a shearing that is taking place. The shearing angle is represented here. This is the shearing angle theta. You can look here. This is the shearing angle theta. Therefore, the surface A, B, Q, P, it gets shifted. Okay. So therefore, there is a shearing. The shearing strain is given by theta is equal to change in dimension to the original dimension. It's not properly applied here, but still then we can take it. Shearing strain is X by L, and stress is nothing but F by A. What is F? It is a tangential force. You are applying the force tangentially. So these are the three different types of moduli. Now in this class today, we will connect all these three. What we will do is we'll connect all these three types of elastic constants. Okay, so therefore let us start with the relation between different elastic constants. Okay, relation between different elastic constant. The first one, okay, that you are going to study is the relation between shearing stress The first one that you are going to study is the relation between the, shearing strain. Okay. Shearing strain. Okay. Then elongation strain. And the third one is the compressive strain. Okay, so here these are the three types of strains that are present. You have to connect them. So I will give a small discussion hint on this, how to do it. Okay, now here I have the shearing strain. Okay, you have learned about shearing strain, elongation strain. What is a shearing strain? You should know before you start doing it. Okay, so what is shearing strain? Okay, the shearing strain. Okay, first one, shearing strain, elongation strain, second one, and the compressive strain. Okay. Now you have learned in the last class that when a body which is in the form of a cube, like this, which is in the form of a cube. This is the cube what you have. Okay, this is the okay. Okay, so this is the, if I apply a force like this, okay, there is a tangential force that I have applied. Due to the tangential force, there is a movement of the upper surface. So this surface gets sheared. Okay, so therefore there is a displacement of this. Therefore the displacement, I can write it like this, is a displacement. Okay, if the lower surface is fixed here, keep in mind this is the displacement that is taking place. So from here, if I mark it as A, B, this as C and D, if I take it as P, Q, this is R and this is S. So it is shifted from P to P dash, this Q to Q dash, and this A gets shifted to A dash and this gets shifted to B dash. Okay. So this is the shearing that effect that has taken place. This is called as the shearing effect, and this is known as the shearing angle theta. It is known as the shearing angle. Okay, or it's also called as shearing strain. It is called as the shearing strain. Okay, now what is this? First one is over. So by applying a force F, this theta is the shearing effect that has been taken place. Theta is the shearing effect that has taken place. Therefore, this is the theta. This is the shearing angle. Shearing angle means it is the shearing strain. It is called as the shearing strain. So first one is the shearing strain. Second one is the elongation strain. What is this elongation strain? Just know it. So in elongation strain means, for example, I have a wire like this. I have a wire. Okay. So this is the wire I have. Okay. So I have a wire. Okay. Now, okay, so this is the wire I have. Now, what happens is that by applying the force like this in this direction and in this direction, so I can extend its length. I can extend its length like this. So there is an increase in the length. Okay. Okay, I will apply the force only in this direction. Okay, so once I apply the force, there is an increase in the length. There is an increase in the length of the wire. Okay, so this is the increase like this. So this is the increase that has taken place. This much is the increase. So this is the X. You're getting the point. Now I can take the original length as L. This is the original length L. Therefore, I can write elongation strain. I can write elongation strain as equal to, what is elongation strain? It is a thing but X by L. Where there is an increase, elongation, it is called as elongation strain. Okay. Then the third one is the compressive strain. Second one is over compressive strain. What is this compressive strain? So I have a wire like this, which is in this form. Okay. I have a wire. Okay. So the wire is like this. Okay. Now let us assume that the length of the wire is L. This is the length of the wire. I will take it as L. Okay. Now what happens is that I will apply the force. I will apply the force to it, and I will compress the wire. So this is the applied force. Once I apply the force, so let us assume this is fixed. Okay. Once I apply the force, the length of the wire gets shrinked. Okay. So what happens? It is going to shrink in its length. Okay. Okay. So this is the new length what it has. So what is the new length it has? The new length what it has is given by L dash. Now here there is a decrease in the length of the wire. This much is the decrease. I will take it as Y. I will take it as Y. So the Y is the decrease in the length. Y is nothing but the decrease in length. Okay. So therefore it is called as, therefore it's I can define a strain. This strain is the thing but change in dimension. It is also same thing as we have done. Okay. So it is a thing but change in dimension. Change in dimension to the original dimension. To the original dimension. Okay. Change in dimension to the original. What is change in dimension? The change in dimension is Y. And what is the original dimension? It is capital L. But here the length is decreased. Therefore, it is called as the compressive strain. It's called as the compressive strain. It's called as the compressive strain. Okay. Hope you got the meaning of all the three. First one is the elongation, is the shearing strain. So this is the theta. Theta is called as the shearing strain. Theta is called as the shearing strain. Okay. Now shearing strain. Okay. So this is the shearing strain theta. So this is the shearing that has been happened in the body. Okay. And elongation strain. This is the second one, elongation strain. It's a thing, but again, ratio of change in length to the original length. What is the change in length that has taken place? Change in length that has taken place is X. But here the X is increase in length. There is an increase in a length. So whenever there is an increase in the length, it is called as elongation strain. Keep in mind. Okay. Length is increased. Length is increased. So that is called as elongation strain. Third one is the compressive strain. Third one is the compressive strain. So this compressive strain, it is called as compressive strain because there is a change in dimension. Dimension is changing. So the dimension means here the length is decreasing. When the length is decreasing. So hope you got the point. So there are different types of strains. When the length is increasing, we call it as elongation strain. When the length is decreasing, we call it as a compressive strain. And when the shearing takes place, we call it as shearing strain theta. So we have to connect all these three. We have to connect all these three. Okay. So the same question has been asked in the last semester question paper. Okay. Derive the relation between these three. Derive the relation between. Okay. Derive the relation between. You take down this. It's very easy, but a bit confusing. Relation between the shearing strain, elongation strain, and compressive strain. So these are the three things. Okay. Okay. So this is elongation. I will write it here. So it is elongation strain. Okay. So very important relation. Okay. Now for that I will consider. A cube. Okay, as we have taken in the last class. Okay, we will consider a cube like this. Okay. Okay, such that it is having all the directions as same. Okay, so this is the okay. So this is a cube. For this cube, I have applied a force. This is the direction of the force that I have applied. Okay, this is the tangential force. Once I apply a tangential force, this face is called as A, B, C, D, and this is P, Q, R, S. So PQRS is a cube. PQRS is a cube of side CL. That means all the sides are of same length. Okay. So if I take this as the length, okay. So all the sides, length, breadth, and the thickness, they are all same. This is the length of the cube. What is the length? L. Okay. So F is the applied force. That is the tangential force that you have applied. Tangential force F. Okay. Due to this, what happens? Force, there is a shearing effect that has been created. What is the thing is that the face DCRS, lower surface, you can see here DCRS. This surface is actually a fixed surface. It is the lower surface which is fixed. So we are applying the force at the upper surface, upper layer. Due to the applied force F and due to the fixed surface, a couple is generated. Couple means equal and opposite forces like this. Due to this couple, the upper surface gets sheared. That means it starts to move. So there is a displacement of the upper surface. Okay, like this. There's a displacement of the upper surface like this. Okay, so it gets Q gets shifted to Q dash like this. P gets shifted to Q dash like this. Okay. Okay, it gets shifted to Q dash like this. Okay, this is Q dash. Oh, sorry, this is P dash. This is okay. So this is how it gets shifted. Similarly, A gets shifted to A dash and B gets shifted to B dash. So I can mark here from A to this point, D, and B to this point, C. Okay. So therefore, there is a shearing angle theta. This is the shearing strain. Therefore, I can call this theta. Therefore, there is a shearing effect. Okay. Okay. Therefore, there is a shearing effect. Okay. Shearing effect that is taking place. That is, I can call it as shearing of the face. Which surface are surface A, B, Q, P. The AB surface, the top surface gets sheared, okay, by an angle, shearing of surface by an angle of theta. This is the shearing angle of theta. Now I can define shearing. Okay, so this is the first one, that is shearing that has been taken place. Now what I will do is I will consider the front surface A, B, A, D. I can consider the front surface A, P, S, D. So I will consider the surface A, P, S, D. So this surface I will consider front surface. So if I consider the front surface like this, okay. So I have just taken the front surface. Okay. So this is A, P, this is D and S. Okay. So I have taken the front surface. Due to the application of the force, no, it gets sheared. Therefore, P gets shifted to P dash. Okay. Like this. And A gets shifted to A dash. Okay. This is the case. Okay. Now this is the shearing effect theta. Got it. Now what I will do is I will do some analysis and I will find the shearing angle, then longitudinal strain, then the that is elongation strain as well as the compressive strain. Okay. So this is the effect that is happening. This therefore I can write the shearing angle. So first one I can write it shearing angle. The shearing angle theta, it is given by A dash, is A dash by AD, by AD, by A. Okay. So this is A dash. So A dash means here this much is the shearing that has taken place, X. Okay. So from here it is P dash. Therefore this it is nothing but X. So this is nothing but L. Okay. This is nothing but L. Therefore, I can call the shearing angle theta as equal to A dash divided by AD, or I can call it as P dash divided by PS. P dash divided by PS. This is the shearing angle. Now what I will do is I will just separately represent this part. Whatever this part I have, okay, there is a angle P dash. I will separately show it. So if I show it separately, it represents like this. Okay. Okay. So this is P dash and this is S. So from here to here it is L. Okay. And from P to P dash it is X. Okay. Now hope this is clear, students. Again, I will tell you what happens. I have a cube whose sides are L. Keep in mind whose sides are L. This is the length of the cube. I have applied a force. Due to the application of the force, shearing effect has taken place. The surface ABQP, this is the top surface. You can see here the top surface is sheared. That means it is under some force. Therefore, there is a shearing effect. Due to the shearing, there is a displacement theta. This is the angular displacement, what we call. This theta is called as the shearing angle. Shearing angle, what you get it here. This is the shearing angle theta. So it is given by P dash by S. Now here, if this is theta, means here also I can write theta. This is also theta. Therefore, if I take this region, written separately. So I have redrawn here the front face. Therefore, in the front face of the cube, it is APSD, and the point has shifted from P to P dash, A to A dash when I apply a force F. So therefore, here the value x is nothing but the displacement that has taken place. This is the x. This is the displacement that has taken place. Okay, x. Okay. So if I calculate the shearing angle theta from this diagram, so from this diagram I can calculate the shearing angle. So this is the shearing angle theta. Opposite side divided by the adjacent side. So this is nothing but the value for the theta, opposite side divided by adjacent side, x divided by L. X means it is P dash and L means it's PS. Okay, this is how I have to derive the value for the shearing strain. Okay, now first we have defined what is shearing angle or shearing strain. Both mean the same, shearing strain. This is theta, this is P dash by PS. Okay, now next what we have to do is we have to calculate the elongation strain as well as the compressive strain. So first one is over, shearing strain, we have done the calculation. Next we have to calculate the shearing, the elongation strain as well as the compressive strain. Now, so what I will do is I will redraw this diagram again for your case here. Okay. So can I draw it here? Okay, I can draw it here itself. No issues. Okay. Now I have the same diagram. I have taken the surface F, and by the application of the force, the points are under shearing. A gets shifted to A dash, P gets shifted to P dash. This is the shearing effect that has taken place. This is the shearing, okay, that has taken place. So this is the shearing angle. Okay. Now what I have to do is I will draw a diagonal for this. What I will draw a diagonal. So from this is the diagonal. Okay. So I will draw a diagonal. Okay. So this is the diagonal I have drawn. Okay. Now this is the diagonal AS. Okay. Okay. So better I will draw a new diagram. So I will take this one. Okay, I have a front face. I will take the front face like this. Okay. Okay. So this is A. This is P. This is S. This is D. This is a fixed one. So I apply a force. Once I apply a force, it gets sheared. It gets sheared. Therefore, this is the angle theta. This much shearing. This is A to A dash. Before I write these, okay, I will draw the diagonal for this. What are the diagonals? So the diagonals are the AS. This is the diagonal AS. And there is one more diagonal here. PS. Okay. This is the diagonal now here. So diagonals are okay. Okay. So this is nothing but the diagonal. So I will write here. So what are the diagonal? Diagonal are nothing but AD and PS. These are the diagonals. So I have applied a force. Once I apply a force, what happens? The point A shifts to a new point A dash. P will also shift to P dash. It will shift to new point P dash. So from P, it is going to move to P dash. So therefore, there is a shearing of the angle like this. Okay, so this is the shearing angle theta. Okay, this is the theta. Now what about the diagonal AD? Now what happens once you apply a force, the point A gets shifted from A to A dash, P to P dash. So therefore, the diagonal AD as well as the diagonal PS, okay, the diagonal AD as well as the diagonal AS, they change their dimension. They change their dimension. Therefore, the diagonal AD gets decreased. The length is decreased. Okay, when we apply the force, when force is applied, force F is applied. Okay, there is a shearing effect. Due to this, what happens? The point A shifts to A dash. Therefore, the new diagonal will be represented like this. What is the new diagonal? The new diagonal is this one. Okay, this is the new diagonal what I have. So with the blue color mark, I have the new diagonal. What is the new diagonal? Okay, it is A dash D. Similarly, in the second case, the diagonal was SP. Due to the application of the force, the point has shifted to P dash. The diagonal again changes from P S to P. It will now change to S. It will change to, okay, what is the new diagonal you have? New diagonal. So I will draw a new diagonal. This is the new diagonal. Now you are getting the point. Now it's clear that the new diagonal, once I apply a force F, the diagonal AD will now shift to, it will decrease in length. Keep in mind the diagonal AD, if you look at the diagram, the diagonal AD, there is a decrease in the length of the diagonal, length of the AD. Okay. So therefore it is shifting from AD to A dash D. So this is the new diagonal you have. You are getting the point. What's the new diagonal? The new diagonal is A dash D. This is the new diagonal what you have. So this is the new diagonal. Earlier the diagonal was AD, but the new diagonal you have is A dash D. Okay. Similarly, now what is the other diagonal I have? It is SP. Okay. SP or PS was the diagonal what I had. So PS was the diagonal. So this diagonal increases in length. The length is increasing, increases in length. Okay. The length of PS. So if length is increased, no, therefore the new diagonal is P dash S. Therefore I can call it as the new diagonal. Okay. New diagonal. New diagonal. Now the question is, if I apply the force, there is a change in the position from A to A dash, P to P dash. The diagonal also changes from A D to A dash D, SP to SP dash. Okay. So AD, there is a decrease in the length, and for PS there is a decrease, increase in the length. Okay. Whenever the AD changes its diagonal, there is a decrease in the diagonal, length of the diagonal. Okay. Decrease in the length of the diagonal. Decrease in the length of the diagonal. While for PS, no, there is a increase in the length of the diagonal. Okay. Now I have to find how much is the increase in the length of the diagonal. Okay. So I have to find how much is the increase. Okay. So how much is the increase? How much is the increase? For that, what I have to do is I have to draw a perpendicular from A dash to the AD. So what I will do is I will draw a perpendicular. First one, draw a perpendicular from A dash on AD. Draw a perpendicular from A dash on AD. So from this point you draw a perpendicular. This I will call it as Y. So this is called as AY. This is called as AY. Got it? Similarly, from this end, from P, you draw a perpendicular on PS. So this is the perpendicular. I will call this point as X. So therefore, second one, draw a perpendicular. Draw a perpendicular. Draw a perpendicular. Just a minute. It's refreshing. Okay. Now, second one is here. You have to draw a perpendicular. So, draw a perpendicular from which point? From P to new P dash S. So this is the new diagonal P dash S. So this is called as PX. It's called as PX. Here you can see here. This is the PX that I have drawn. Okay, this is the PX. That is the thing but the perpendicular here, and AY. This is the thing but the perpendicular. Okay, I have drawn perpendicular from A dash on AD, from P on P dash S. So once I draw a perpendicular, I can easily note how much is the decrease in the length. Therefore, I can note what is the decrease in the length. Okay, first one. Okay. Okay, are you following, students, how to do it? Now here.
Yes, sir.
Okay, now you go for the calculation of the length. How much is the length increase and decrease in the length? Now in the first case, now this is for the diameter. Which diameter? AD. Okay, as I told you, there is a decrease in the length. There is a decrease in length. Okay, how much is the decrease in the length? So if you look at the diagram, the decrease in the length is equal to AY. This much length has been decreased. Okay, therefore AY, sorry, this is it's called as A dash Y. I should change it here just for a minute. It's A dash Y. It's called as A dash Y. Okay. Now, what is the decrease in the length of the diameter? So decrease in the length of the diameter is, what is the length? So if you look at it clearly, it is A. This is the decrease in the length of the diameter. This is the decrease AY. You can see here, this much is the length. Therefore, decrease in the length of the diameter is equal to AY. Is equal to AY. This much diameter length has been decreased. Okay, decrease in diameter. Sorry, diagonal, not diameter. It is diagonal. Again, I am telling it as diameter. So this is the diagonal AY. So this much decrease in AY. Okay. Similarly, if you look at this curve, if you look at this diagram here, if you look at this diagram here, okay. Now here I can make it out that there is a increase in the length of the diagonal PS. What is the increase in the diagonal? The increase in the length of the diagonal is PX. This is the increase in the diagonal. P dash X is the increase in the diagonal. Okay. So you have to find that increase. Now you have already found out. Therefore, I can write the second one for the diagonal, okay, PS. For the diagonal PS, there is an increase in length. Okay, there is an increase in length of the diagonal. Increase in length of diagonal. How much is the increase? If you look at the diagram, the increase in the diagonal is equal to P dash X. This much is the increase. Okay, this much is the increase. Okay, so I will write that as P dash X. Okay, so therefore P dash X is the increase. Now, once you get the increase and decrease in the values of the how much increase and how much decrease in the diagonal, I can find out what is the strain that is taking place. What is strain? Strain means change in dimension to the original dimension. Okay, so here I should write those values first. What is the first one? In the first one, what has happened is that there is a decrease in the length. Therefore, I can write the compressive stress. First one, I can write the compressive stress. Okay, first one, compressive stress. What is compressive stress? Now look here, compressive stress is obtained in the diagonal AD. So how much is the compression? The compression is AY. What is the compression? So it's a strain, not stress. Sorry, it should be written as strain. Okay. So compressive strain, that is the thing, but change in dimension to the original dimension. So what is change in dimension in the first case? Look here, it is AY. This much length has been changed. You can look here. This is the amount of length that has been decreased. Therefore, I can write it as AY. I can write it as AY. Okay. So AY. AY. Okay. This is AY divided by original dimension. Now look here, length is AD. You are getting the point. Change in length is AY. So therefore I have to write it as original dimension is AD. Okay. The diagonal is AD. You are getting the point. So when I apply a force, when I apply this force, the length of the diagonal AD get decreases by AY. Okay, so therefore, what is the value of the decrease in the length? So it is AY by AD. So this is known as the compressive stress. Okay, so sorry, it's not AD. Okay,
Strain.
sorry, compressive strain. So I have to write it as AY divided by AD. Okay, AY divided by AD. Okay. Sorry. It's not yes here. Okay, fine. Check. It is. I have written it in a reverse manner. Okay. So it is just AD here. This is. Okay, here I have to change because this is P. I have taken some other thing here. This is yes. This is P, yes, AD. Okay, sorry. This is yes. There is the reason I am getting different thing here. Okay, no issues. This is yes. This is okay. So the diagonal I have to change here. Just AD. No, I have to change it as AS. Sorry here. I have to make some correction here before I go to that. AS. Diagonal AS. Okay. Diagonal, you make it as diagonal AS, decrease in that. Okay, so here just a small change. Otherwise, even though if you take it, it's okay, but it is not giving you the right diagram because at the starting we have taken differently. Okay, A dash S is the new diagonal. Similarly, PD, it is not PS. I should take it as PD. Okay, so just a small change. Okay, small change. PD, okay, PD, okay, and P dash D is the new. Okay, so here you have to make that correction, PD. Okay, so new diagonal, draw a perpendicular A dash on AS. Sorry, here again I have to make all the changes. AS. Okay, this is AS and A dash Y. Draw a perpendicular from P to P dash D. Again, so not S. I have to make it as D. P dash D. So this is PX. That's right. AD is the decrease. Okay. So I should make it as AS. Sorry. Okay. Fine. So I should make it as AS. Okay, AS is the decrease in the length of the diagonal. I have written as diameter, so just diameter. Okay, so decrease in diagonal is AY, right? For diagonal PD, it is not PS, so I have to write it as diagonal PD. Okay, there is an increase in the length, and that increase in the length is P dash X, right? Therefore, compressive stress or compressive strain is change in dimension to the original dimension. Just okay. So what is change in dimension? It is AY, and what is the original length? It is AS. Okay. So I have to write it as AS. Sorry. Okay. For the delay. So you have to bear with me for this one. These are the small errors, they do happen. Okay, so this is AS. AS. Okay, so this I will take it as the first one. Okay, compressive strain. Okay, now go for the second one. What is the compressive strain is over? Then I can write the elongation strain. The same thing as you have done now. Elongation strain. Okay, so elongation strain means again change in dimension. Change in dimension to the original dimension. To the original dimension. Okay, so what is change in dimension? Look here, for the second diagonal you have to take PD. So the change in dimension, if you look at here, if you look here for the second dimension, okay, P dash X is the change in dimension. Therefore I will write it as P dash X, P dash X divided by original dimension. What is the original dimension? It is Px or PD. I have to write it as PD. So this is PD. So this is the equation number 2. So we have got the elongation strain. So we have to find the values now. We have got the values of compressive strain and elongation strain. So let us go for the first one. We will do the evaluation for the compressive elongation strain. Okay, we'll do the evaluation for the elongation strain. Okay, this is the thing we will do. Okay, we will check it. What is the value for these? Calculate it and substitute and get the value of elongation strain. So to keep in mind clear, to calculate the elongation strain, I should know Px and Pd. Look here. What is Px? You have to evaluate. Look at this diagram. You have to evaluate what is Px and PD. Okay. Now here, what happens is that since I have drawn a perpendicular, keep in mind, I have drawn perpendicular from A dash Y, A dash from A dash to Y. Therefore, here I have to make a note. What is the note? The note is that, okay, DP or PD, I can write as DP. Where DP is here? DP, this diagonal will be equal to, so keep in mind here, okay, dP is equal to dx. dP is equal to dx. Okay, so why? Because I have drawn a perpendicular, and second one is A dash S. A dash S. Where is A dash S? So this is the A dash S. So this A dash here as well as S here. So A dash S is equal to Y. Yes, is equal to ys, is equal to ys. Okay, so this is the case. I have to write it after I draw the diagonal, or you can also write it here. It's a right place to write it. So remember this. Okay, so what is this? Here I can write, okay, dP is equal to dx. dP is equal to dx, and A dash S is equal to ys. So this is the case. Okay. Now we will evaluate the elongation strain. To evaluate the elongation strain, okay, so you have to find both P dash X and PD. You have to find A dash X and PD. This is PD. Look here. What is PD? PD is the diagonal. Keep in mind here, I want PD. I want PD. What is PD? PD is the diagonal. PD is the diagonal. So this is the diagonal. You can see here. This is the diagonal. Okay, you can see the diagonal. So this I have to evaluate. Now I can evaluate the diagonal very easily by applying the laws of Pythagoras. Okay. Why? Because it is a cube. So for the cube, all the sides are equal. For the cube, all the sides are equal. So this is the length L. Okay, this is the length. So this horizontal length is also L. Okay, this is also L. So if length and breadth, if it is L, you can calculate the diagonal by using the Pythagoras theorem. So therefore I can write the PD, first one. Therefore I can write the diagonal. What are the diagonal? The diagonal are AS as well as equal to PD, and that is equal to L square plus L square. This is root of 2L square, that is equal to 2 root of 2L. So therefore I can write AS is equal to PD, that is equal to root of 2L. Okay. Now look here, this is a right angle triangle. No, DPS will form a right angle triangle. DPS. Similarly, DESP, it will form a right angle triangle. From that you can calculate the diagonal. So this is the way I can calculate the diagonal from the Pythagoras theorem. So this is from the Pythagoras theorem. You can easily do the calculation. Okay. Now I have to find next P dash X. Okay. Okay. So from the triangle, I want P dash X. This is the P dash X. What you have, I want to evaluate it. Okay, P dash X. This is the evaluation what I have to do. P dash X. To evaluate the P dash X, okay, I should use the triangle P dash X. So therefore I can write from the triangle. Okay. So from the triangle, I will write here from the triangle. Which triangle I am using? P dash X. Now look here, P dash X or PX P dash. It's a right angle triangle. It's here. You can see here, this is a right angle triangle. Okay, P dash X. From that I can calculate the cos P dash. So therefore I can write from the triangle PX P dash. I will write from the triangle. Okay, from the triangle PX P dash. Okay, it is a right angle triangle. I can write cos of angle P dash X. Okay, I want to evaluate the cos of this angle. Now look here, this is the case I am interested. I want to find this angle. Okay, to find that angle, cos of that angle is adjacent side divided by hypotenuse. What is adjacent side here? Adjacent side is adjacent side is P dash X and hypotenuse is P dash. Therefore I can write cos of this angle is equal to cos of angle P dash X is equal to P dash X divided by P dash. Okay, so therefore I can write P dash or P dash X. Rearranging this, I can write P dash X is equal to P dash into cos of angle P dash X. So this is the angle what you have. Okay, so this is the value of cos P. Or I can write it here, P dash X is equal to P dash into cos of angle P dash X. Now I have to find this angle P dash X, or I can just write it as R. P dash is equal to P dash X is equal to P dash into cos of, I will write this as angle A P dash D. This is the angle I will write. What is A P dash? Look here. This angle, the one which I have marked in green color, is a common angle P dash X, or it is the same as A P dash D. You are getting the point. Sorry, A P dash X, A P dash yes. Okay, you can also write it as A P dash yes. Now this angle from the triangle P dash X, I have this angle, green color angle. You can see here angle. Which angle? Angle P dash X. That will be equal to angle A P dash D. This is A P dash D. Why? Because they have a same common angle. Both the triangle have the same common angle. Therefore, I can write angle A P dash D. Now, what happens here is this. This is actually a cube. This face is a cube. You can see here. This is a cube. Okay, whatever the face you have, this is nothing but a cube. For the cube, all the sides are equal, L. Got it? So I can have the triangle. Look at this triangle. Which triangle I'm talking of? I have a triangle here. triangle D. Okay, so this is the triangle, which triangle I have, D, P and S. This is actually an isosceles triangle, DPS, or triangle DAS. These are nothing but the isosceles triangle. Okay, so therefore I can write here. Okay, I can write here at the end. So this since, okay. Okay, so in isosceles triangle, which triangle? In isosceles triangle, okay, which isosceles? Right angle triangle, right angled triangle, okay, APD, okay, triangle APD. So where is APD? Look here, APD. Look at this angle A here, this angle A, this P and D. So this will form APD. Okay, will form a isosceles triangle. If it is isosceles triangle, then for isosceles triangle, what happens? For isosceles triangle, okay, okay, angle APD is 45 degrees. Keep in mind, angle APD is 45 degrees. Okay. Now what has happened here is that, keep in mind, I want angle AP dash D. So this is the angle I am interested in. Okay, AP dash D. To evaluate angle AP dash D, I am using the same angle. Now here what has happened is that the shearing angle, okay, okay, here since the shearing angle theta is very less, okay, therefore I can write angle AP dash D is equal to angle APD. You are getting the point what I am written here. Since the angle theta, this is the angle theta, this angle is very small. Okay, if this angle is very small, means angle angle APD is equal to angle AP dash D. Okay, almost same. Why? Because this theta is small. Okay, or I can say this theta is small. If this theta is small, means whatever the angle you have here, okay, whatever the angle you have here, okay, okay, so this angle and this angle, they are same, they are almost same. Okay, so therefore I can write angle AP dash D is equal to APD is equal to APD, that is equal to 45 degrees, or this is also equal to, or I can write it as, okay, this is equal to, okay, this is equal to, that is equal to cos, this is also equal to angle P dash X. This is also equal to angle P dash X. Okay, so we have evaluated the angle P dash X. Now you can substitute it in this angle. Okay, this equation. Okay, so this is the equation that you have. Therefore, this I can write. Therefore, this is equation number 3. So if I take this as equation number 3, so therefore P dash X, therefore equation 3 becomes, okay, P dash X is equal to P dash, that is equal to cos of angle P dash X, or it is P dash into cos of angle AP dash D. So AP dash D we have evaluated as 45 degrees. Therefore, P dash X is equal to P dash into cos of 45 degree. So if you evaluate cos 45 degrees, that is equal to 1 by root 2 into P dash. So this is equation number 4. Now we have done the evaluation. Now look here. We have done the equation for a diagonal. Okay, what is the diagonal PD? Now look here, I will take this equation. Look here, what is the diagonal? We have done the calculation for the diagonal. How much is the diagonal? So the diagonal is AS RPD, that is equal to root of 2L, and I have done the calculation for P dash X also. I have done the calculation for P dash X also. It is 1 by root of P dash. Okay. Now, look at this equation number 2. I am interested in evaluation of the elongation strain. It is P dash X by PD. Therefore, you substitute these two equations in the equation number 2. Okay. So I will just rewrite this as, okay. So this I will write it as 3. Okay. So this is 3. Okay. This I will take it as 4. Okay. And finally, this is the last one that I have. I will take it as 5. Okay. Now you substitute these values in equation number 2. Okay. Substitute the values in equation number 2. So which equation number 5? That is 3 and 5 on substituting. Substituting 3 and 5 in equation 2. So that is nothing but the elongation strain. Elongation strain is equal to P dash X by P dash. Sorry, P dash X divided by PD. PD. Okay. What is P dash X? It's done. It's done. It's already here. It is 1 by root 2 into P dash divided by PD. What is PD? I have written here in the diagonal. It's root of 2 into root of 2L. Okay. If I rewrite it, it is P dash root 2 into root 2 is 2 divided by L. So this is nothing but equation number 6. This is nothing but the elongation strain that has taken place. Okay. Similarly, on the same basis, I can write, okay, on the same basis, I can write it as, okay, on the same basis, I can write the compressive strain. I can write the compressive strain. Okay. Okay. What is the equation for one? That is compressive strain is AY by AS. AY by AS. AY by AS. If you do the calculation, that will give you again P dash by 2L. Now there is one interesting modification to it. Now before I go to it, okay, there is one interesting modification. Okay, there is some interesting modification to it here. I can still write it as, okay, 1 by 2 into P dash by L. Now, what is this P dash by L? Anybody can tell me what is this P dash by L? Look at the diagram here. P dash by L. P dash by L. Madlake bardinille. P dash by L. Okay, what is this P dash? P dash is nothing but X. Okay, divided by L. So therefore, it's here P dash. P dash by PS. If you look at this here, theta, I can rewrite this as P dash divided by PS. What is this PS? PS is nothing but a side of the cube. Therefore, I can take it as L. So here also I can write theta as equal to, it is actually tan theta. So tan theta I can write here just for your case. So tan theta is equal to P dash divided by L. Since theta is small, okay, theta is small, therefore I can take theta is equal to P dash divided by L. Okay, P dash by L. Therefore, theta, keep in mind, it is P dash by L. So it is nothing but the shearing angle. P dash by L is nothing but the shearing angle. Okay, so therefore it's called as 1 by 2 into theta. Like this. So therefore, on the same basis, I can write the value for compressive strain. So it is 1 by 2 times of theta. So it is 1 by 2 times of theta. So this I will take it as equation number, how much it is, 3, 4, 5. This I will take it as 6 and this I will take it as 7. Okay. Now look here, you add 6 and 7. Okay, we are completing now. Adding equation 6 and 7. Adding equations 6 and 7. Okay, what is equation number 6? You tell me. Equation number 6 is the thing but the elongation strain. What is equation number 7? It is the thing but the compressive strain. Add them. Therefore, elongation strain plus next. What is the next one? It's the compressive strain. Add them. Adding equation 6 and 7. Okay. Now you got that. What is elongation strain? It is the thing but theta by 2. We have already done this from 6. Okay. Plus compressive strain. It is again theta by 2. It's 1 by 2 theta, theta by 2. So therefore, if you add it, that gives you theta. So therefore, you write it again here. Very important. Elongation strain is equal plus compressive strain. Okay, is equal to theta. Now, so you have done the evaluation for elongation strain, compression strain. Now, what is this theta? Already I have told you theta here. What is this theta? What is this theta here? Sorry. Some changes that has taken place. Therefore, what is this theta? Theta is shearing strain. What it is? It is called as the shearing strain. Therefore, I can write theta as equal to shearing strain. Therefore, that is equal to shearing strain. Okay. Nothing but the shearing strain. Okay. So therefore, I can write finally, what is the relation between them? The relation is sum of elongation strain plus the compressive strain. Students, are you there? Compressive strain is equal to. Yes. Okay. I know it's very lengthy. I cannot help you. Okay, it is. Okay, it is equal to. Mugit shearing strain. Mugit. So this is the final relation that we are interested. Okay. So what is the relation between these three? The relation between the elongation strain, compressive strain and shearing strain is such that sum of elongation strain plus the compressive strain is equal to the shearing strain. So in the examination, they will ask you a simple question. Okay, very important question. Last semester itself, they have asked it. Okay. Show that the sum of elongation strain and compression strain is equal to the shearing strain, or derive the relation between elongation strain, compressive strain and shearing strain. So this is the equation. Now look here, very simple concept. Now, but the derivation is lengthy, that you have to agree. Okay. So what has happened is that here I have a force that you have applied. Once you apply a force, the body gets sheared. So the shearing means there is a shearing effect. The point A moves to A dash, P will move to P dash, generating an angle theta. This is called a shearing angle or shearing strain. So there's a decrease in the diagonal AS. AS will change its diagonal from AS to A dash S. Similarly, AP get increased to PD dash or P dash D. Okay, here the diagonal is increasing, here the diagonal is decreasing. So here in this case I have to define compressive stress. In this case I have to define elongation strain. So what is elongation strain? It is AY divided by AS. What is elongation strain? It is PX divided by P dash X divided by PD or PD. Okay, so you have to find the values of this elongation strain Px and Pd. For that, you have to consider the triangle. Which triangle? P dash X. From that, you have to consider the triangle angle P dash X. Okay, and evaluate cos angle. So once you get the cos of that angle, rearrange it for P dash X. Here I have done. So after that, you will get the angle PP dash X, rearrange it for AP dash and do the analysis that it is 45 degrees. Once you get the values of P dash X. This is the elongation that has taken place. Okay, diagonal you can easily find it from equation number 3. Okay, and you can easily solve this derivation, of course. Okay, so it is a very lengthier. Okay, it's a detailed one, but I will share this. And if you have any doubts, you can ask me in the coming classes. Okay, so I shall stop here itself. In the next class, you can continue. I don't know how many students are there watching the video. Okay, thank you for your time and patience. Okay, got it. Dear students, I will tell you one thing. It's a really lengthy part. Okay, I cannot help you. There are more derivations lengthier than this coming week. Okay, so there is more complex. You have to be patient and attend the classes. Okay, thank you for your time. Okay, if you have any doubts, you can ask me. I will share the notes also for this. Okay, thank you. Adiru hogiru ellaru?